Okay, Adam, what game are you trying to play?
Anthem.
And it gets stuck, right?
Yep.
And what did your brother say was the problem?
He said it was PC RAM.
It's the PC.
PC, CPU.
Yeah,
motherboard.
PC.
Okay, so we built this for you a long time ago. I remember it's a 6-core, 6300, I believe. And so Anthem wants a minimum of that 6-core. It wants 8 gigs minimum, but it wants 16 gigs. That's recommended. And it wants like a hardcore, a really hardcore video card, which you don't have. Wait, Adam. Isn't this the 1060? 3 gig?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the 1060 3 gig, and you have the 6300, and you have 8 gigs of RAM, and it's lagging.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna test it out, just in case. I actually have some parts here.
It's also the Division 2.
Okay, we'll check that out. We're gonna have to connect to my internet over here then, and then just in case, if it really is a graphics card, we have a 1080 Ti here we can put in. So let's see what's going on. Okay, so I got Adam's computer redone. We were getting lots of stuttering in Anthem, so I did a fresh install of Windows 10 Professional, and we updated it to the newest version. I've set the graphics settings, and let me put it up here. We were getting a lot of stuttering before. His system is a FX 6300. I overclocked it to 4.1 gigahertz. We're basically locking at a terrible speed. And it had 8 gigs of 1600 DDR3 RAM, and it has a Asus GTX 1066 gig. And so we were getting stutters on this game. And so here are the video settings that I have right now. And I have it at vertical sync is off, HDR is off, the graphics setting motion blur is off, depth of field is off, chromatic aberration is off, camera shake at 50%, graphics are custom. As you can see, anti-aliasing is off, ambient occlusion is SSAO, everything else is set at medium. I believe it might get pretty bad frame rates of this. I've set this at low before, and we get really good frame rates and no stuttering. So previously we tested it at low, and I added extra RAM, because if you can see, the RAM's at 7.8 megabyte system RAM, and so the 8 gigs of RAM before wasn't totally doing it, and I believe that is what is actually causing the stuttering. So now I'm back in game, and I'm going to 43 FPS, 37 FPS right here where we're about to jump off. And I got stuttering there, 34 FPS, 17 as a dip there, and 28 FPS here, 35 FPS. So definitely slower frame rates than when I had everything set on low. It looks a little bit better for sure, but let's see. The RAM is at 8 gigs, so 8,242 megabytes. So that's over 8 gigs of RAM being used by the system, basically by the computer, in total. And actually, this is actually less stuttering than we had before. Before I added the RAM. So with 8 gigs of system RAM, it just wouldn't cut it. I put in another 8 gig stick. So it does have a total of 16 gigs of RAM in here right now. And right now, it's running at 40 FPS. With everything set at medium, 38 FPS. Let's see what we do here, 37 FPS. Many of you guys would say this is unplayable at maybe if you get into the 30s, you know, dropping in 30 FPS and such. The graphics are pretty decent here. The lighting is definitely a lot better, and so I guess you could tweak it a little bit more, but 47 FPS, 48 on the ground is a little bit better. In the sky, let's see where we're going, 30. Yeah, we're dipping at 30s and 40s here, but when it's set on low, we get consistent mid 40s and 50s, and so that's definitely playable. It's just not as pretty as it is here. Definitely better lighting effects at medium. So 39 FPS, 40 FPS again. So like I said, the dipping is something that maybe some people would say that's not playable for me. There's a little bit of a lag right there. And we're at 38 FPS here. So guys get an idea of what we're dealing with here. I'm gonna set the settings to low, and I will do another record real quick. just so you guys can see the difference in FPS. Okay, here we are back in Anthem. So I've set all the settings at the lowest settings. Now, right now, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the RAM is at 7,626 megabytes. You know, so 55 FPS. Everything's set at low settings. So right here, the settings are in terms of graphics. Right before, everything was. We still have ambient occlusion on, but otherwise anti-aliasing is off and everything's set at low. And right now, the video RAM is up at 2 gigs of video RAM. And so here we go. 49 FPS, dipping at 30, 36, because we have a lot of particles and stuff. And 43 FPS, 39. So it looks like it's 40. It's quite odd. Now we're bumping up to 8 gigs of RAM usage on system usage right now, and the video RAM is going up a little bit, and we're at 42 FPS. So it doesn't seem like there's too much of a difference in when you're flying around. And I'm going to drop in. So, but on the ground we're going to 45 FPS, 43. And we are in the middle of that little storm here in the front, where it's always kind of like that. But we're getting in the 40s. We're not dipping into the 30s like we were before. Oh, we're at 38 right there. So there's a little bit of a difference. 40 FPS there. And I'm sorry if I sound like a machine here, but I don't know if you guys can see this on YouTube, because I'm not doing any screen capturing or anything. I'm just playing it while, quite frankly, putting a camera at it. So here we go. 36 FPS right here, 41. And in terms of, I really can't tell the difference. I really can't tell the difference in terms of foliage quality, just because I'm not standing around to look at the foliage, quite frankly. But 43 FPS and such. So it looked, before I was playing, I thought that I'd notice a bigger difference, but now that I'm playing right now, I mean, we're doing a 36 of quick action here. And I suck at this, so no judgment calls here, guys. But, you know, the 38s and such, you know, with these big monsters and a lot of weather effects here. So the game is, and again, I guess it really depends on where you are in the game too. It looks like some parts of the map are better than other parts. And I guess that's what it is. So given that there's not much of a difference between low settings and medium settings, I'm still drawn to the conclusion that it was a RAM issue, right? Because right now we're running 8 gigs of system RAM right now, and of course that's not possible because Windows wants some RAM too. So definitely Anthem is RAM hungry, quite frankly, because the GPU the GPU memory usage is only about 2 gigs and such. So, but yeah, hopefully this helps out anybody else who might be having stuttering issues in Anthem. It seems that adding 16 gigs of RAM tends to help, you know. So any question or comments, please post them at the bottom of the video. Thanks for watching, guys.